Hey everybody, welcome to Turn Automotive's first live event. My name is Jon Frederick. I'm the CEO of Freddy Media. I am joined by the man of the hour, Marc Steiner, the CEO and founder of Turn Automotive. Marc, how are you today?
Good. Glad to be here and
Nice.
thanks for having us. I'm excited.
I'm so excited to speak to Marc because Marc is my favorite kind of person, somebody who took their car dealership background, created a product around it, and then brought it to the market. So, Marc, before you became a tech entrepreneur, before you had Turn Automotive, you started out in the car business just like everybody else. Were you like a salesperson? What dragged you into automotive retail?
Well, I got dragged in a long time ago. I was 15 years old. And I don't know if we've chatted about this before, but it was a Saturday afternoon. And I ended up at my friend's father owned a used car dealership. And he had to go to work. And I ended up there with him. And his father said, "Do you want to work today?" And put me to work. And I was on the corner on a busy highway, waving down customers and flagging them in. That was my first day in the car business.
You were
And
like basically a sign spinner.
yes, I was a sign spinner
What
way
did it
back in the
take for
day.
him to have the confidence to let you sell a car? Actually take one wire to wire.
It took a while. I kept asking, "Hey, I want to sell cars," and he was diligent in telling me, "You need to learn everything first." So I started as a lot guy. Then I was detailing. And I said, "I want to sell cars." No, you need to learn how to fix a car. And he had me changing oil and doing brakes and brought me up the right way and really took me in. And it was a great experience. And it took a long time. And then finally, a few years later, when I was in college, I was working for him at nights, and that's when I started selling cars.
Is
And
all of that up in New Jersey, Marc? Did you go to college in New Jersey?
so I went to college at Drexel University in Philadelphia, and this was on Route 1 in Langhorne. So I'm originally from the Philadelphia area. So my original upbringing was on that car strip on Route 1 where there's, I don't know, 1,000 used car lots at the time.
And then, so you're a bright guy. Marc's very smart. For people who don't
Oh,
know, he's got
stop. Come
kids. Your
on. Come
daughter
on.
like goes to
Come on.
Duke and everything. Marc's
Come
very
on.
smart. But when you're in college, were you hedging at all, or were you like, once I graduate, I'm right back to the car dealership, or were you flirting with the job fair?
So the job and what I majored in originally was photography and then minored
You're
in
an
business.
artist.
Yes, so I was in the School of Art and a minor in business. And right around that time, digital photography came out, and I saw the art of photography going away to Photoshop was just introduced and all this. And I said, this isn't going to be something that I could really do. And I loved cars, so I stayed with it, and I've been with it since.
So, talk to me about how your ambitions changed. Were you successful working in the car dealership? Were you top sales guy, great sales manager, eventually general
Sure.
manager? Did you move through that path?
I went through that. So I was at this used car lot and I was selling cars. And then I went off on my own and started doing some wholesale. Then I got a little retail lot as an independent dealer with a partner. Then I grew past that, opened my own dealership, independent dealership, and I was there from 2000 to 2007 and did really well with it. It was a wonderful experience. When I sold that dealership, I had an opportunity to join Nissan in North Jersey. And that dealer had a need to build their used car presence, which I felt I was an expert at and enjoyed. And we made a deal. I went in there as the used car manager. So that was the next step. Um, I learned the new car business there, taught them the used car. We became wildly successful with Nissan certified, always in the top three in the country my entire tenure when I was with Nissan. And I went from used car manager to general manager to executive manager to doing four dealerships in the New Jersey area. So
That's
I took the I
incredible.
took I took the whole path. And while I was with Nissan, I learned a lot about fixed ops. I learned a lot about finance. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
How did your ambitions change? Was there a moment in life where you just wanted to be the biggest wholesaler in Jersey, then you wanted to be like the best Nissan dealer in Jersey, and then how did like the delusion of becoming a tech founder creep into your mind?
Well, no matter what I was doing with Nissan, my love was buying cars. I was at auction every week for years, and I handled all the inventory acquisition and disposition, new car and used car. And I guess I'll step back. Back in 2007, I was in Daytona at a Nissan factory closed auction buying cars, and I met Todd Foley, who is now my business partner in Turn. Fast forward many years later. So
Todd was a
Todd,
Nissan dealer as well.
correct. So his story's cooler. He was a third generation dealer in Augusta, Georgia. And Todd's grandfather was the first Datsun dealer east of the Mississippi. Before it was Nissan, he was a Datsun dealer. So Todd grew up in the business. He was on the fixed side, but then they tasked him with used acquisition because it has to be a trusted person, right? And we met at auction and we kind of hit it off and became friends. And we weren't competitive. He was 8 states away. He bought two-wheel drive. I bought four-wheel drive. Next thing you know, we're traveling together every 2 weeks. And this goes on for years. We're in Nashville at the factory sale. We're in Dallas. We're in Orlando. And we started doing a lot of business together. And we both, years later, saw where there were efficiencies coming with digital auctions. You know, John, if you remember back then, you used to get in a plane, spend a couple nights in a hotel, touch cars, walk cars,
That
and
was
buy
the
cars.
era of the most valuable person at the dealership knew the used car business. It was just table
Yes.
stakes. Are you going to be in charge? Okay, be great at used cars.
Yep. And
And then additionally, there
th-
was way less technology. Like when I came out of college, we had V Auto. So George O'Connor could confidently put me behind the desk and appraise a vehicle, and I could like kind of get it right. I lost a lot of money, but I kind of got it right. So how were you appraising cars back then?
so I was a big fan. It's funny you say V Auto. I was a big fan of V Auto and a very early adopter. We were one of Dale Pollock's first customers at Nissan, so I really embraced it. But the thing about that is it's a good guideline, but it didn't write a check and it didn't give a good customer experience. And at the time, our customers didn't even know what it was if you referenced it. Now it's obviously grown a lot. So moving along that line, Todd and I were saying, spending the time away from the dealership, there's digital auctions that started to proliferate at the time. Trade Rev and some other companies were coming up, and we started seeing some great efficiencies. And we started getting this itch and saying, listen, we could take what they're doing and do it better because they're not solving the showroom problem of giving the customer a really transparent experience at time of appraisal so that they'll trade their car and we'll sell more new cars. It was a big obstacle we faced in the dealership. No matter how many times I went out to a customer and said, here, your car's worth $10,000, there wasn't that trust there. They didn't believe it and there was friction. So we wanted to build something with technology to remove that and solve the piece of traveling to auction. And that's kind of how we got into
So
tech
you
and
guys
started Turn.
both sell your dealers. You sold about the same time, you and Todd,
Yep.
and
2018, we
then
both exited Nissan at the same time.
you're sitting on a mountain of money from selling a car
Yeah, right.
dealership, and you're thinking, how do you go about actually starting a tech company? You go hire a dev team. You had a bit of a concept in your mind, and then talk about
I'll
like
tell you
actually
how we
building
did
it.
it. John, it's funny. We had this idea, but we were car guys, not tech guys. So
Yeah.
Todd and I said it would be so cool to work together. We get along great. We'd be great partners. We have this awesome idea to enhance digital uh, wholesale. So we say, all right, we'll just get it built. That sounds easy. We find this guy, and he tells us, yeah, 6 months, 200 grand, build everything you want. No brainer. Let's rock and roll. Well, here we are about 7 years later and a lot of seven figures later, and now we actually have that product. So we were naive and believed you could get into tech and just build something. And it was a long path and we did it the right way, but we were naive. We thought that we were just going to become a digital auction in a year, and that doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen because it's two-sided demand. You need supply and demand, and then you need everybody to know about it, and
Yep.
basically, awareness perpetuates transactions, right?
Correct. And building a
So,
marketplace and scaling it. And that's what we're doing, right? But it's also having a product that the dealer in what we do in turn that really sets us apart. And I guess this is probably about what you're talking about with the tech. What did we see? We wanted to be a partner with the dealer and worry about retail first. Wholesale comes later. That's the byproduct. But we built this for the problems we had in the showroom. We wanted a better consumer experience at a time of appraisal that converted our trades better. So we had more cars to retail. But at the same time, having an exit strategy outside of a V auto or a wholesaler or taking the car to the auction, the physical auction, And that's how Turn Automotive came about.
So
That's
you
what we
had a
wanted to do.
concept where you said, okay, the salesperson is going to use Turn Automotive to go do the appraisal. It's going to be an app on the phone. They're going to walk around, take some pictures, and then what happens from there?
Correct. So we had this vision, which is now reality, where instead of flipping the keys to the used car manager, and he's just an appraiser or she's an appraiser all day, and then the salesman comes out and says, "Well, that guy hiding behind the wall like the Wizard of Oz, he's been
Yeah.
doing it 30 years, and he knows your car's worth $10,000, and it's a horrible experience." We said, "Well, what if we engage the customer in the ultimate walk around, and we built this app where the salesman take them outside, do the appraisal. The customer is actually touching the car with them, understanding the why. It's educational to them. Come back inside, and then we present a guaranteed offer to the sales management, so they have a backstop before they ever even offered the customer the appraisal amount." So it's like them
So
having a
you
crystal
are
ball.
giving the dealer a guaranteed offer, and then are they just using that as a proxy for ACV and running out there and opening up the deal however they see fit, or do they still mark an internal ACV relative to what they believe in?
It depends on the dealer. So let's say it's a Honda dealer and it's a late model Honda. They're probably going to keep that car and they should keep that car. They'll still use our process to engage the customer, make the customer comfortable, and get the customer to say yes on that first pencil and get rid of the friction. They take in that car for retail, whether they use our number or their number, great. We're your partner in retailing cars. That same Honda dealer goes outside and it's a purple vet with yellow seats. That might not fit their stocking plan. They're going to engage the same way, and that's where we're going to give them a hand, hold their hand and give them a backstop, so that before they present it, they can go out with confidence, and the customer knows that the right number was put on it, because we're shopping this car to deal hundreds of dealers around the country live
So
on the
the
phone.
flow is if the dealer acquires the car and then leverages your guaranteed offer, it then pushes that car into Turn Automotive's dealer auction network, and then any dealer within Turn's network can then bid on that vehicle.
Correct. When the vehicle goes live, that salesman hits submit. Turn Automotive is going to be the first offer, and we might be the last offer. We're going to put an offer on that car, any car. If it has a VIN, we're putting a number. It could be $100 car, it could be a $300,000 car. We don't discriminate. Doesn't matter.
The
So we're
genius in what you did is you took the appraisal information and just pushed it to the auction, because
that's
that
it.
otherwise that have been duplicative. It would have been take it in, then go take new pictures to list on auction X, Y, and Z. So you worked within the flow of the dealership and then just pushed that information over for the car to be seamlessly bought while you're simultaneously empowering the dealership to just purchase the vehicle themselves. So generally the cars that make it to Turns auction are the ones that were like not a perfect fit for that exact dealership when it's going through the trade-in process.
Well, it might be a fit for theirs. We're going to put them all live so that that dealer gets exposure. We've seen scenarios, John, and you know this when you were working the desk. It's a Honda dealer. I'm using that example again. They think they're going to keep that 23 Accord. We put it live, and within minutes, we have a Honda dealer in California say that puts $2,000 more because their market demands that. And
Yeah.
now that selling dealer is saying, look, that's more than we get retail. I don't have to recon it. I'm just going to punch it now. So we do have scenarios where we get that dealer money for a car they thought they were going to keep for retail, and they cut it. So it depends on the dealer. It depends on their appetite for
So
investment.
you just kind of let it float for a little bit. If it catches more money, cut it loose and you're just a happy guy.
That's right. And every time there's an increase in the offer, it goes to the dealer. It's their upside, right?
Mark,
We're
I was
there to
talking to a
get them.
Ford store this week that is losing 50 grand a month on wholesale. And I remember when I used to do financial reviews with Jim Coons, he kind of proposed wholesale as like almost a break even world for
Mhm.
us. It's like if you're making too much money on wholesale, you're missing cars. If you're losing money on wholesale, well, that's unacceptable. And you better not be doing that next month if you still want to have a job. What's your thesis on the like watermark for wholesale? Is it a great place for a dealership to lose money, a great place for a dealership to make money? I know that's different franchised and independent. You have to make money every time,
Correct.
everywhere. But on a franchise store, is it acceptable to ever lose money on wholesale, or is that just that's weak?
I'll speak to what I know and experienced. Years ago, yes, it was acceptable. We didn't let a deal walk out the door over a trade. So if we had to lose money, but we were hitting a stair step or we were going for volume, that's what we did. And that mentality has evolved and it really changed in COVID. All these lease returns are coming back. Dealers are making all this money wholesale. And all of a sudden, it went from a losing proposition to a very profitable piece of the business, and it's maintained that. I think in today's market, wholesale can be profitable, and profit's not a bad word. If you are smart and use efficient tools, you educate the customer, there's no reason not to. But we're called Turn Automotive for a reason. Everything's about inventory turn. Let's talk about that 60-day-old crusty car that's a little
Oh,
over.
we used to get a
We're going to lose on that.
25% write down against our store's profit if something turns 60 days old. I could like
Yes.
literally have a $3 paycheck if I had six 60-day-old cars in the lot.
Well, you'd be surprised how many dealers have aging inventory that the used car manager or director's disguising, keep pricing it down. That's where you need to take your loss. Your first loss is your best. So I have an appetite for eliminating those cars and getting what you can for them. As long as you're getting current market value, the top right end user money, doesn't matter what you own the car for. If you own it right, you're making money. You own it wrong, you're losing money. It's our job to get you the top current value. Those cars are just like ice cream cones melting on that lot. Okay, the depreciation is just dripping off. They gotta go.
So let's move from the trade-in process to vehicle acquisition because no dealer is seemingly doing it perfect right now. And that's like people are raising their hand and just saying like, help me, I can't buy cars at auction. So what is the
Mm-hmm.
state of auctions? Why are dealers so bad at buying there? That was the guy losing 50 grand on wholesale. He was fine on his trades. He was getting good trades, retail trades. But like he had no way out of cars that he bought at auction. He wasn't buying right cars. Like what makes the auction so hard right now? Even is it because everybody has technology at their fingertips and even like a 6 month out of college guy can go be an effective buyer at an auction, or like what's the state of auctions? Why is it so whacked?
Well, that's a piece of it is the technology, but the core economics around it, supply and demand, right? There's just not enough cars in the market. You have too many people competing for it. We've heard about margin compression. These cars at some of these auctions, by the time you get them home and recon them, you, you're in the water day one, right? You have a negative profit going in. The smartest dealers are making sure they get every trade, but taking it a step further upstream. The place to buy cars is right from the consumer in the driveway. That's where the dealers are finding the best vehicles at the best price with the biggest margins.
And
Well,
you know this, Mark, like I'm a digital marketing nerd. I'm all about cost per lead, cost per sale, Meta, Google, any way, skin the cat however I can find it. I think the best marketing message a dealership can put out right now to their local market is, hey, we're buying cars. We are buying private party vehicles. We need your car. We'll step up on it, even if you're not buying from us. If your kid's going to college, if you had a family, you had some sort of thing go on, we want to buy that car. We will give you so much money for it that you'll be very surprised. And then we will make that process easy. So I think that that's like such an approachable marketing message that not enough dealers are leaning into. But then what's the process? Because like we
yeah,
can run
there
that
has to be
campaign
a process
successfully.
around it.
If we
Because,
can run
John, what
that
you just
campaign
said,
successfully, but if the technology sucks, or if the customer experience is bad, or if it's hey, on the phone, you're at 15 grand. And when you show up, I'm pointing out this, and this, and it turns into 13.5. That's a bad experience. So how does Turn Automotive crack the private party vehicle acquisition remotely or through the service lane or people knocking and saying, can I sell you my car?
well, your first point about they should be advertising, of course they could, that should and do. But you talk to so many dealers, they say, yeah, we'll buy your car. There's no process behind it. Where then the customer calls and they say, well, we don't want that car. Where they come in and things change. It's a horrible experience. That's not the people that are winning at this. What we did at Turn is we made an end-to-end seamless solution where a dealership can buy a car virtually 100%, never even see the consumer if they want to use our end-to-end solution and buy a car right in the driveway. And what that looks like, whether it's their buying center, maybe the BDC has to overcome a trade objection, they simply use our platform to text that consumer a link. The consumer does the inspection where they want to, at home, in their driveway. They don't want to come to the dealership. They don't need to come to the dealership. They have Carvana, CarMax, and everyone else telling them, we'll buy it from you at home. Those cars are slipping out of the dealership and out of the auction. Back to your point about inventory supply at the auction. So with this, the consumer walks around the car. We have Turn Vision AI. Consumer, it's unbelievable. They take a picture of the car, and our technology will circle the damages, the dents, the rust, the scratch, and put back to the dealer a perfect condition report where they can make 100% confident decision with our integrations, window sticker on every car.
You still give them a cash backed offer if it's done remotely?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what we'll do is the dealer could self-number it and just buy it using our software. But if they push one button, John, it'll go from the driveway live in our auction, right from the consumer's house. And we'll have dealers around the country bidding on it. So they might buy it and make a wholesale spread back to profit.
And then what do you do about like customer title work and picking up the vehicle? Do you send two drivers that you go find the retired guy who's like coaching Little League Baseball and get him and his nephew to go get it? What do you do?
You're showing your age. No, we use technology. It's end-to-end seamless. We have a very robust logistics nationwide service. The truck literally shows up, picks up the car from the consumer. The consumer's paid while the truck's in the driveway, and the car's taken to the dealership. It's amazing. We're buying cars all over the country, virtually, without ever sending an inspector, seeing a customer in person. Money's handled. Titles handled, our dealers are getting cars, customers are having a great experience. It's mind-blowing what we've been able to build.
Well, it'll be a bit of a cultural issue to figure out what we do with all those retired guys that are no longer doing dealer exchanges or buying cars from people, but it's neat that you have the technology to do it. And then yeah, I think that's the flow. That's what consumers want. They want to be able to just go take pictures of the car, flip it over to you, you number that thing, and then the vehicle acquisition is just flowing from there. So you have dealers successfully doing this now. What are any insights they found to dealers? Do consumers really like it? Do dealers like it? Where's the skepticism? How do you get buy-in? How do you make it fit the actual process?
We have dealers that are absolutely crushing it. And the dealers that are doing the best with it are advertising. They buy every car. Because you want to bring in all those leads. You better not get on that phone and handle that lead and say, I don't want that car. That consumer is going online, putting a bad review, and they just killed your buy center. You need to buy every car. So we're the backstop. We take all the risk. We are 100% liquidity for any car out there. So when a dealer now, using our services, using our widget on their website, we even do that, John, we'll capture the lead for you and automate the condition report to the consumer. We do it all. It's all automated. That vehicle comes back. That dealer doesn't want it. They push a button. We're backstopping it in 15 minutes. Now they could give an offer to that customer on any car on the planet, whether they like it or not. It could be pretty, it could be ugly, it could be dirty. It doesn't matter. And they're giving the customer the great experience. They're buying that car and making wholesale profit while they're building their online reputation. They're building a profit center in wholesale, and they're getting the cars they want for retail. That's how you have to do it.
Yeah, I think you really are pushing back against the Carvanas, the CarMax process. Dealers got absolutely buried by them. Dealers had no answer for that we'll pick your car up out of your driveway thing. And now suddenly Turn Automotive is like, yeah, flip this out to all your customers, run cool marketing campaigns, send it out to your email database. I mean, how's the service drive working out? That was always like, you know who used to have to this is how the dealership worked when I was there, Mark. If you were ever late for a sales meeting, you had to go work the service line until you did 3 test drives or bought a car from it.
Yeah. Well, there's still some great service drive acquisition going on. A lot of dealers use our tool for it. Again, whether you're using it, what's neat about our product, you can use it in the showroom. You can use it remotely in the driveway. You can send it to a friend. You can use it in the service link. It's portable. So wherever you want to buy a car, you can do it. We have dealers who, their salesmen are driving down the road and they see a for sale sign on the car and they'll go in our app and text them the link. Hey, I want to buy your car. And that customer fills out the link and they buy it remotely. So if you embrace technology, car dealers, for some reason, the automotive industry didn't want to embrace technology for years and they kept it slow. And these processes where customers hated it, customers wanted to go to a dealership like you want to go to the dentist. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can't now. There's Amazon. People expect things right away, transparent and fast. Amazon, Spotify, push a button, I have my music download. You better give them speed. You better give them a great process, and better be able to buy that car right away, or you're out of the game. It's that simple, and that's what we've
So
done.
the current state of affairs, Mark, is like everybody has a cash offer widget or a trade widget on their website. Like, why would, and then you are like the full spectrum purchase the vehicle widget. So why, tell me the story, paint the picture, like somebody switches from the on-site trade widget with the cash offer to your thing. Why is that better for the consumer? Why is that better for the dealer?
Because their conversion will go through the roof. The problem with the other systems you just decide is they're fragmented and broken. They don't talk. Ours is truly end to end. We keep the customer engaged in that flow, automation, so the dealer doesn't have to do it, and we keep them in the life cycle, in the loop, communicating with them through text, through our technology. You give them that great experience, and you show them this is why your car is worth this. This is why we're paying this, and you validate your offer. Not playing car guy or car girl, just truth. Here's the dents you could see that our AI picked up. Here's the equipment it's missing. It's out of warranty or it's in warranty, and that's a good thing. Just be transparent. But the difference is having a solution that does it all. I don't know of another product that does it all. Our
Tell
offsite
me,
appraisal does.
yeah, offsite appraisal is definitely where it's at. Um, yeah, I think, where are you going from here, Mark? Like, do you have any other product roadmap, or like how do people get started with you? Like, what's the most important thing on your mind in 2026?
Consumer acquisition in the driveway for our dealers. That's where the dealers need to be acquiring cars. That's the best place to get cars. We have the best process to do it, and the dealers that are winning are taking it head on. These
And
these
then,
customers come in. John, think about this. These customers come to your showroom. They already got a number from Carvana, CarMax, and 16 other places. You can go online right now, and by the time we're done this call, I could have had 6 offers.
mm,
Okay, so you better embrace it and have a better play and a better experience. And we are enhancing our products with a ton of artificial intelligence to even elevate that consumer experience and bring better conversion.
so tell me about two other things. Like, are you empowering dealers to do remote sales deals as well, where this just is included in the trade process? And then how are you combating fraud on the platform and reconciling title and actually like paying the customer?
Okay, so we're not doing retail sales. We're the trade piece or just an outright purchase piece, right? We're not. We cut off at that point. We're not delivering a new car back to them. Okay, that's not our wheelhouse. That's not what we do. But as far as title, we have uh, total fraud protection, DMV checks, facial recognition. Um, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes into that. All money is transferred securely. It's an end to end solution. It's awesome.
Do you have any sort of guarantee? Like, can you have a guarantee on the trade? Like when I used to buy a clunker at the auction, and I paid for the 150, $200 to make sure that I could like send it back or whatever.
Okay, so let's get back to why we started Turn Automotive. I told you about that customer experience. There were 2 reasons. Number two was Todd and I hated arbitration. Arbitration, when something goes wrong, is horrible for the buyer, the seller, and the auction. It's the biggest pain point in wholesale. To your point, what happens if something goes wrong? Well, we claimed we solved arbitration, and we did. There's no extra fees, no extra costs. Every transaction is insured by an actual insurance company with a warranty for 14 days to protect the buyer and seller. And if anything is wrong on that vehicle, no matter who appraised it, even if the consumer appraised it in their driveway and it ends up at one of our dealers, anything between $500 and $3,500 that was not disclosed on our condition report, the buying dealer is getting paid. And we'll
Wow.
pay MSRP on parts and customer pay rate, not internal, not wholesale rates, not we're getting you used parts. Your fixed ops department could actually make money on it, and there's no cost of sale increase to the used car department. It's a game changer. We solved arbitration. You're totally protected in that environment, whether it's a consumer or a dealer.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you, Mark. I'm very interested in Turn Automotive. I know that you've turned it on in a few stores that you and I are both friendly with, and that's kind of how we got together. Is like a few dealers I know were using it, and they were using it really successfully. And I think you are the cutting edge of private party vehicle acquisition, and I think that's the biggest problem that dealers have right now. So if anybody's interested in getting started with Turn, how do they do it?
So I'm sure we could drop a link in here, but you can go to turnautomotive.com, click to register. It's fast and easy. Check out our marketplace. There's no cost to join, no contracts, no subscription. You'll just pay if you buy a car or sell a car or use our offsite appraisal. We'd love to show you what we have. And John, I want to thank you for your support. The dealers we've worked together, you've been an inspiration to me. The lead management, showing dealers how to really get the customer to this stage for the offsite appraisal. You and your team have done wonderful, and looking forward to buying and selling a ton of cars with you.
Thanks, Mark. Well, everybody, thanks for joining today. Check out Turn Automotive, and congratulations to Mark and his team for being on an incredible entrepreneurial journey that's solving a real problem for the dealer industry. So everybody go check out Turn Automotive. And Mark, thanks for hopping on today.
Thanks. We'll talk to you soon, John.
See ya.
Take care.